getting a lot of messages lately from my viewers ensuring that I'll be reviewing Ubisoft's latest title, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now, I've been very interested in playing this game myself, but I hadn't played the previous two games, so I had to do a bunch of research beforehand, and I'm glad I did because there's some pretty crazy shit that went down. Released this past Tuesday for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and early 2011 for the PC, Brotherhood continues Desmond and Ezio's story and adds some new features to spice things up. If you're a fan of the series or just love action-adventure games, this is probably one you're going to want to look into further, so let's check out Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
I don't think anyone ever expects to wake up one morning and find themselves caught in the middle of a war between two secret organizations. I know I didn't. But here I am.
If you're like me and haven't played the previous games, you'll need some backstory before you play this, so I wrote up an article on my website that explains the crazy shit that went down in the first two titles. The game does a decent job explaining it to newcomers, but if you want more detail, you'll want to check out my article. Recall at the end of Assassin's Creed 2 that Ezio had just met with Minerva, who gave a message to Desmond telling him that there was no god, that religion had been used to control people, and that humans were created as slaves to another race of beings long ago. But a solar flare wiped out the world, and the same fate was going to happen again unless they were to find the remaining temples created by the ancient race. To do this, Desmond must hop back in the Animus to see what Ezio did with the Apple of Eden, as it holds the locations of these temples. Desmond, Lucy, and the crew escape from the Abstergo facility and set up shop in Ezio's family manor. Upon entering the Animus, Desmond relives Ezio's memories, picking up right where the previous title ended. Ezio escapes the vault with Mario and returns to the family estate. After a night of fun and fornication, the incestuous Borgia family shows up with the Apple of Eden and destroys everything, killing townsfolk and murdering Mario. I guess Ezio should have killed Rodrigo when he had the chance.
To yours!
A wounded Ezio is forced to flee his manor and eventually passes out while escaping. He awakens shortly thereafter under the care of a young woman in Rome, now devastated and completely controlled by the Borgia. Ezio meets up with Machiavelli, and this is really where the bulk of the game starts. Basically, Ezio has to build his own army to defeat the Borgia and reclaim and hide the apple forever. To do this, he'll need the help of the thieves, mercenaries, and courtesans, and will eventually form a new assassins guild, all while trying to rebuild Rome in the process. The final series of Ezio's events are somewhat anticlimactic, but all I can say about what happens to Desmond after all of this is, what the fuck?
You must kill them now.
I'm with Machiavelli, Ezio. We should not wait.
Bartolomeo is right.
They must pay for Mario's death.
Do not worry. They will die.
The single-player campaign took me roughly 33 hours to complete, and that was after completing a good majority of the side quests. The game was greatly lengthened because much of the quest must be executed perfectly, so there's a lot of trial and error and rinse and repeat. There's a lot of different types of missions, typically involving trailing someone, assassinating some targets, or stealing important documents from people, but things get difficult when these missions throw in stipulations like remaining undetected and not killing anyone but your target. That's pretty tough when you have all of Rome chasing your ass. What's great is that while a lot of the missions are very similar, the game never feels repetitious because it's just so fun to play. In fact, you can even continue to play as Ezio after you finish the game to complete all of the missions and challenges. The PS3 version of the game has some bonus content that you could download for free, which gives you about an extra hour worth of missions that involve saving Copernicus and some scholars from the Borgia as they try to prevent them from notifying the public of their astrological discoveries. Ubisoft's Uplay is integrated into the game, granting you access to a wealth of information including walkthroughs if you're stuck, as well as unlockable outfits, themes, and weapon enhancements for the game. There's even a Facebook application called Project Legacy that integrates directly with the game, and your actions on this app could have effects in the game. I think this is all a very cool use of technology. If 33 hours wasn't enough for you to merit the cost of purchase, you've now got a multiplayer portion added as well. In the multiplayer, you and other Templars use the Animus to put you in an environment where you're randomly assigned target players to assassinate, while the other players are obviously assigned you as well. So you have to blend in with the crowds to avoid being found, as well as not be detected when you're making your attacks on other players. It's really a neat concept. Based on how you make your kills, you'll be awarded experience, which will level you from 1 to 50, with each level granting you access to better abilities or customizations for your character's look. I didn't spend much time playing this, but it did look pretty intriguing, and if it gets a good online community, it could be pretty damn fun for those of you not burning all of your online time on those first-person shooters and strategy games. Simply put, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is just fun. You'll feel like a total badass dancing across a battlefield with your hidden blade, taking out multiple foes in a matter of seconds, or diving off of a building into a pile of hay to avoid the horde of crossbowmen chasing you across the rooftops. The game takes place pretty much entirely in Rome, and the game world is massive. Luckily, you can hop onto a horse to increase your rate of travel, or use a series of interconnected tunnels to instantly travel you across the city. Rome is divided into sections, each controlled by the Borgia. To liberate the city, you've got to kill the Borgia captains and destroy their towers in each zone. Upon doing so, you'll be allowed to purchase and renovate the buildings in that area, which in turn allow you to shop and make money. Blacksmiths repair your gear and sell weapons and armor. Tailors sell pouches and parachutes and can dye your outfits. Doctors sell medicine and heal you, and the banks collect money for all of your renovated buildings and store it in an account for you to withdraw. To me, renovating Rome was very addicting and just as fun as beating the crap out of the bad guys. Once you start recruiting new members to your Assassin's Guild, you'll be able to call them into battle at your leisure, and they're actually quite effective. Each assassin has their own skill tree and experience and will level up the more you call them, granting them access to better gear and moves. You can even send them on missions across Europe, which in turn grants them experience, money, and rare items. This was all very cool and saved my ass on more than one occasion.
Watchman, priest, or politician, twisted words and but
Finally, the bleeding effect from the Animus has affected Desmond to a point where he can now see ghosts and visions of Ezio, which will lead you to certain objectives as you explore the modern world. You may leave the Animus at any time to wander the area, but I wasn't really all that concerned with it, so I didn't do it very often. I just wanted to get back to kicking Templar ass.
Lucy, I'm making my way toward the entrance.
The graphics in Brotherhood are quite stunning, as you'll encounter some beautiful vistas and have more NPCs on a screen than I've ever seen in a game. But again, this comes with a price on today's consoles. The game has terrible screen tearing freaking everywhere you look. Once you get used to it, it's not that bad, but for those first few hours, it can be pretty excruciating if you have an eye for that kind of stuff. In addition, the game is plagued with tons of loading screens that actually take a long time to load. This is especially frustrating on the missions that you fail over and over and have to constantly sit through 30-second loading screens. The game also froze up my PlayStation twice, and once I fell through the floor and had to reload. So while it's quite beautiful to look at, it's certainly not without its flaws. On the other hand, the soundtrack is very well done, as the tracks really get you into the spirit of the Renaissance in the Italian countryside that you'll visit, and the voice acting is spot on with wonderful accents and entertaining dialogue.
Why are you just standing there?
Oh, because I wanted to ask you something. Which is... What's your name?
Not one you'll ever need to make use of.
Aspetta, I wasn't ready! I was planning on being really charming and funny. I just have a second chance.
Well, if there's one thing that's for sure, it's that you'll certainly get your money's worth with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. With a campaign clocking in at over 30 hours plus a rather interesting multiplayer, you've got a title that will keep any gamer occupied for quite some time. This may very well be one of the most brilliant games I've ever played. While it does have graphical flaws, the gameplay was fun, though tedious at times, but the way I felt once I completed it has only happened to me a few times, most recently with Mass Effect 2 and Final Fantasy 13. That is how you make an action-adventure game. Lionhead should take some notes from Ubisoft for their next Fable. What do you think? Leave your questions and comments below. Check out the full write-up and screenshots over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter and Facebook, and make sure to check out all of the other great gaming entertainment on the Game Station. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.